My friends, if you don't believe me when I tell you that modders have done the impossible, well, watch this. If I weren't watching this myself right now, I would not have believed me either. But this is real and it's spectacular. What you're watching is the M2EX project, or Medieval 2 Extended, which isn't in fact a single mod at all, but a full engine level rework that completely changes and expands upon what it means to play Medieval 2. And before I go into details, let's just spend a moment and take in the actual miracle in front of our eyes right now. The number one biggest hurdle for me when it comes to playing Medieval 2 in the modern era is the campaign map camera of this game. Whether you're using the mouse or the keys to move around, this map has you fly across it at the speed of light thanks to its performance originally being somewhat tied to your frame rate or something. This issue is now fixed, and the camera pans smoothly across the map, making it actually playable for the first time in like 15 to 20 years or something. But the issues do not stop there, as the second problem of Medieval 2's campaign camera has to do with its zoom levels. It doesn't zoom all that far down, and it absolutely doesn't zoom that far up, meaning that on larger, non-vanilla campaign maps, I have been feeling extremely claustrophobic and as if my FOV is just super zoomed in. Well, with M2EX, I can zoom all the way in to admire my castles, coastlines, princesses, and generals, but it doesn't stop there. Watch this. Not only can I zoom all the way up to both get a better strategic view of the map and my empire, but I can even turn the camera a full 360 degrees to marvel at this game from all angles. The simple fact that every piece of text in the game has been upscaled and updated to fit modern resolutions is fantastic, and makes it so much easier to read everything from names to unit descriptions and numbers. Want it even more immersive? Turn off the city names and unit names on the map if you dare, and see it come alive like never before. My friends, I don't know how else to say it, this is a dream come true. This new campaign camera single-handedly fixes my biggest gripe with this old engine, and does not only serve to make the game more beautiful and fun to look at, but has genuinely massive implications for gameplay and playability. But this is of course not everything M2EX has to offer, so calm your mind for a second, because this is going to sound even more unreal. M2EX is not brand new. In fact, if you've been keeping up, you've probably heard of it by now. But the fun part about M2EX is that it's a constantly evolving project, because its developers are pushing new test releases almost every day or week or two. So let's go through the major features of M2EX just to show you how insane this whole thing is. Medieval 2 Extended converts the entire game to a fully 64-bit engine with a new rendering backend, and has taken this old DirectX 9 game to DirectX 11. What this means in practice is that Medieval 2 now runs infinitely better. Not only is the campaign map smooth, but battles are smoother too. It doesn't stop there, because check out these turn times. They barely take a second or two, and it's not just vanilla either, but heavy mods like Stainless Steel Historical Improvement Project finishes turns at virtually the same speed. The new engine means it's possible to alt-tab in and out of the game without issue. It means new graphical options, including an extreme unit visual option, which means that your units are always rendered in full 3D and never converted into sprites. It means entirely new torch and fire lighting, new shading, and just so much more. And speaking of units, yes, M2EX makes battles in Medieval 2 so much more enjoyable, because as with the campaign, it quite literally does everything that a full remaster would do, while of course keeping the traditional UI intact. The camera is now a lot more flexible and can be used much like a modern Total War camera, zooming and turning like you're used to with the later games. Range units now have a range indicator showing where they can shoot, and units behind objects can be seen in color. These are both toggleable, by the way, so if you want a cleaner image, you can pick and choose whatever makes you want. Perhaps my personal favorite visual UI feature is that holding down the spacebar not only shows an outline of where allied and enemy units are or will go, but also their freaking unit cards. This is completely new to Medieval 2 and M2EX. They look simply stunning, small enough to not clutter the scene, but large enough to be informative and really give the battles an important boost of legibility. Notice also how the unit information has been expanded to show things like the kill and capture count per unit, which is an immersive way to keep track of the performance of your units while the battle is ongoing. You might also notice a change in visual fidelity and image quality overall. While everything here is a constant work in progress, developer Pannoniæ is playing around with shading, detail and lighting with the aim of making Medieval 2's units and environments pop like never before. Controls have been improved as well, allowing us to select however many units we want and move information with Alt-Drag, a feature the modern games also uses. Oh, and a personal favorite feature of mine is that we can now finally simply left-click to deselect highlighted units. Oh my god, what a quality of life feature this is. Furthermore, the project has managed to fix shared deployment in battles, it's constantly fixing old vanilla bugs, and it has also removed all of the old engine limitations, like faction, religion, culture, and region limits, meaning this is a gift to modders that may herald in an age of Medieval 2 mods on a scale the likes of which we have never seen before. There are 1,001 counting fixes, changes, and upgrades to M2EX that I simply cannot mention here, and new changes are made virtually every day. The mod itself comes out in two versions, one available on GitHub that are officially stable versions, and another called test versions that are available for download on the official M2EX Discord. The test versions feature all of the latest fixes, updates, and features, but as they are test versions, you better remember that things will likely be more unstable and janky at times. The devs do value feedback though, so if you wish to take the plunge like I do, feel free to download the test versions and share your experience and crash reports in a constructive manner. Of course, we cannot talk about M2 Extended without talking about Medieval 2 writ large. So to answer your question, yes, Medieval 2 Extended is compatible with virtually every Medieval 2 mod. That is, unless the mod is based on EOP, which is another Medieval 2 project that overhauls limitations to the vanilla engine. Most mods do not use EOP however, and some mods that are based on EOP are being made compatible with M2EX by passionate souls. So how do you play M2EX with mods then? Well, it's as simple as creating a new shortcut of your m2ex.exe and then pasting in the path to your mod folder, just like in this example. It really is that simple, and every feature and setting that you've seen in vanilla M2EX, like new camera features and new text and font, are fully integrated into your mods. Seeing as Medieval 2's mods tend to greatly expand the campaign map compared to vanilla, many of them can feel extra difficult to play, simply because on a bigger map, and if you're anything like me, you're going to feel extremely boxed in, even on the highest zoom level. As you may have guessed, Medieval 2 Extended completely fixes any such problem in virtually every mod. Take a map like the giant stainless steel one. Your vast empire can now be seen in one shot, at least in the beginning of the game, and panning the map from one end to the next is a dream. What about a map like the one in Lucium, you may ask, where large empires are a thing from the beginning? Well, the same goes for Lucium. Look how much more this map shines when you can actually view large parts of Europe at the same time, or see the Ottoman Empire in all its glory in essentially one and the same shot. Worse for me was Sardoms, a mod that by all accounts is amazing and vast, but which just felt impossible to play thanks to Medieval 2's archaic camera movements and again, zoom levels. Now though, Sardoms is actually playable, as we can zoom much further out and twist and turn the camera smoothly, truly giving this mod the perspective and legibility it deserves. But the absolute worst offender and the biggest victim of Medieval 2's limitations was Insularis Draco, an amazingly detailed mod covering the late Roman and early medieval period on a massive map of Northern Europe. As such though, it was painful, so freaking painful to navigate due to the camera. But now, your nose is no longer squeezed down into Frankish forests and North Sea waves. You can finally comfortably view this world or its regions as I imagine it was always intended. With the fixes, upgrades, and additions M2EX have added so far, Medieval 2 becomes a completely new game that feels fresh and modern. This really is the answer to our prayers for a Medieval 2 Remastered, at least insofar as the original game goes, and in terms of gameplay, this is the Medieval 2 you know and love, just better in every way, made to work for a modern era. It is super easy to install, vanilla works straight out of the box, and it's easy to make it work with virtually all your mods as well. So some examples of mods that work with M2EX with or without existing special patches: Stainless Steel HIP 0.98, Kingdoms Grand Campaign mod, Lucium, JLMP's Vanilla Kingdoms, Lord of the Rings Divide and Conquer version 5, Sardoms, Dark Ages Roma delenda est, Aure Imperii, De Agminum, and Insularis Draco, to name a few of the main and most expansive ones. M2EX will just keep on getting better, but even if it ended here, it would offer more than I could have ever asked for from a developer team, and I wish to extend a massive thank you to the past, present, and continuous effort put in by developers like Pannoniæ for their hard work, and for being so helpful to newcomers who ask for aid in their Discord. Let me know what you think of the M2 Extended project, and is there something you wish to see in the future? Tell me in the comments, and make sure to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe to the channel for more. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.